Hello everyone, we're back on our last video. We're going to do the mushroom, and I'm going to do it in the red, in this, like this, the tall one, so it'll be different. And I finished the background. We'll do a little bit in the clouds, but I think the background turned out really nice. I really like it. So I'm just going to do this little mushroom here, and we're going to start with black raspberry. So we're just going to do kind of along the edge and down around the bottom. We're going to do this part in the Spanish orange, and then let's see if I have my Viridian out. If not, I will find it. So, oh, it's in my hand. It's poppy red. I wanted the Viridian. Scarlet. I'm sorry, I thought I was ready. Is this one it? This one is it, but I want it in not my old color, but my new one. Alright. Well, let's get started and all. The Viridian is an orange, kind of an orange color. We could probably do it with the poppy, but the Viridian is more orange, bringing it in. And I think it just looks nicer. I know it's out here somewhere. Give me just a second. I'm sorry, I really thought I was ready. So here's the other Viridian. Okay. Maybe it's the last one in the jar. The last one in the jar. Okay, so let's just start by filling this in. We're just going to do a light touch. This is such a dark color. We don't need much pressure. Pull my little pencil pad down. Gives me something soft to hold on to. Have any of you tried those square pencils? They're supposed to be really good to make you be able to hold on to it better. No, I haven't. Seem like I know what I do have some. They're a pencil, actually a pencil set that I have. Here it is. It's just the lead pencil, but it's more squares off. So I don't know if the other ones are square or if they're like that one. I did do a couple of these in the purple, so I saved 2 of them, just trying to get this video done, because I'm ready to move on something besides mushrooms. But I hadn't got the sky one. It never did turn out, so I had to do that a couple of times. But now we got the sky one down pretty darn good. I'm just going to darken the edges a little bit. And we got to do the clouds. Okay, where's the edge? There it is. Okay. So now we're just going to come around the bottom part. I don't know why, but I always go in little circles when I get close to something. It just makes it a little easier. It's quiet. It's in the evening. The wind has finally died down. Some about the peace of the evening. It's like everything quiets down. We're going to kind of come up a little bit. And then back down. I just kind of outline it by going up and down. And I definitely don't want a straight line here. But everything that you color can be done in any color as long as you use the same technique. So I'm just filling this in, and then we're going to take that Viridian. Well, I'm going to do my highlight. I like to do my highlight because then I have an idea where I'm going in every direction, and I don't mess up. And if you accidentally cover up some of your little popcorn pieces, the Posca pen will definitely help you recover it. And if you don't have a Posca pen or something good that will give you some white highlights, if you have some acrylic paint, you could do the same thing with that. So, because actually I was looking today to see if that wasn't, I was thinking this is acrylic. You would think on everything it would say this is made in Japan, so it's probably good. But I'm just not seeing where it says. But I'm pretty sure it's just an acrylic paint. So why couldn't you do that? We're just gonna finish Coming around this one last little curve that we marked out. I just watched a really good movie, but it was also a little violent, but it was good. So it's kind of like I just need something to do to take off that all right, I'm going to do my highlight and start with this Spanish orange. And some of the highlight is up here. And you just want to go over this because, again, it keeps, even if you go over it with another color, it keeps your this spot lighter than anything else, unless you really dig in. And then we want this spot in here, another highlight. I'm having fun learning all these new things on YouTube to add and do, and it's funny once you start learning to do a little bit, then a little bit at a time seems not so overwhelming. Even when I started a new job in computers, it would be so overwhelming in the beginning that you don't even see a lot of it because you're so looking, just trying to remember exactly what you are supposed to remember. I'm not sure I started with the meridian right here. Seems like there must be another step. Wonder if I did the, let's try this. And then come into the meridian. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. We're going to do the Charisma Red first. And we're going to do it into the dark. So we're just going right over the top of the dark. And then we're going to pull it out. But that's what makes this red so dark, is because we're going, I better slow down just a little bit. I'll get out of line. Because then we're just pulling it out. So it's kind of like right here where these two are coming together. We'll get that little pencil out and work on that. Make sure I don't go over the top of my little mushroom that's done. And we can come back over it with that dark and work it back into. I guess there are a lot of these little popcorn pieces everywhere. I didn't know there were so many. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I did the yellow ones. Because we just want to get it out here a little ways. Because then we're going to take the Viridian and pull it even farther out. But we can go ahead and come back over it. Make sure I got black raspberry. I do. Okay. Because it almost looks more like a brown, but it's got a lot of red in it in a different way. I'm just trying to soften this red into this a little bit, so this line is going to disappear a little more. We're getting plenty of that pencil and layers. That's what, 3 layers on that. It's a little easier doing this on the little fat mushroom, but it'll be okay. All these colors will blend together. Just something that you just have to keep working at. Just keep filling it in. Just do little circles. Oh, come on, it's so quiet tonight. It was kind of a movie about a kid that his mom died, his dad took off, lived with his grandma, he got in trouble. She said enough. He had an aunt. I think they were in Australia. And so the grandma sent him there. And then he found out that his aunt and his uncle were famous, I guess, karate. I don't know what else it was. Something like that. Instructors and stuff. So he got into that. And he just became such a good kid. But that there was drama that happened, and the bully was picking on him, and then he learned how to defend himself, and the bully picked on his girlfriend, and that was just too much. And I don't usually watch movies like that because they're just kind of too much for me. But I watched it. It was good. So we're just laying down this viridian. It's going to come out. And then by the time we get out here, it's going to be, we kind of cover up this a little bit. So it just kind of peeks through. So it has the oranges in it. I may be sorry I didn't do yellow, but we'll see. It is where it is now. I'm not going to be able to change that color. It always just amazes me when you go back over a darker color with a lighter color, how it just blends it and fills it in. Where's my little brush? I'm starting to get crumbs. Now we're just going to go everywhere. And we'll come back in here. And we'll get more into that. And trying to watch out for my little white spots. I did give this 2 layers now. And they're pretty much white. It's that white against the darker ones that makes it really, really shine. Pop out there and that little shadow underneath. When you go over the top of the yellow, just do it lightly. Don't do a heavy coat, because you do want it to kind of pop through there and change the color. Then you can come back down into this dark. Now that we got all these layers on here, and it does bring it more together. And then out into the red. So each mushroom is going to look different. Yeah, I just have not made 2 exactly the same. It doesn't really make any sense to try to duplicate it. If you want to duplicate it, I think that's what copy machines are for. So don't try to do exactly what somebody else is doing. Just see how it's done and the depth of the colors. And I think you'll save yourself a lot of heartaches, because I've tried so many times to make things exactly like somebody else was doing, and it didn't work. Now I could take the Gamsol and bring this together, but I want this orange layer over the top of this too now. Then I can come in here and soften it. But But this works really well. Just patiently adding your layers. Well, this one I have way up here. And you really, since you're going to use that pasta pen, you don't have to worry about too much about little places, but it's probably still a good idea to go in there and clean it up with your eraser as much as you can. That's why I like the little electric ones. But I found mine little one. Here it is. This is the one I started with. And it is by Tombow. And it's got that little tiny, so you can get them if you don't want an electric one. But electric one doesn't cost any more than this one with the refills. And I've gotten used to it now. I'm spoiled. And you know, once you get spoiled, it's really hard to become unspoiled. That's why we love our pencils. We get spoiled with each set. But I am putting these away after this, and I'm going to pull out my polychromos. And we're going to do some pictures with them. And I'm not sure what book I'm going to do. You just keep working your way to the center. It's a little harder with all these little things in my way. Okay, let's try. Get the green off of the tip of here. I'm going to dip it in our gamsel. I'm just going to come in here and just finish smoothing it. I should have started in here. And worked my way out. Because if not, I'm going to pull all of my color because if you pull down this way, you're going to pull all of that in there. So you want to start in the lightest spot and work your way back up. And soften that out. I wanted this one to be a little more orange since it's right next to this orange one, and then blend it in with the red. get all the light spots done first. This just works so nice with this Gamsel. Now, I do have some alcohol pencils that they say that will work too. But I find this is working better than the alcohol pencils. From where I've tried to do this. It's just so much easier. You're not fighting it so hard. Oops, don't knock your pencils off. I got out of line there in that little cloud. That's not going to be a good thing. Might have to go over that, erase it, and try to go over it with white. So now we're just trying to blend this down. So in a way, you're pushing your color around a little bit. And I can tell that if you really got busy on it, you would really take a lot of your color off. So I don't think it's a big deal that it moves around a little bit. Because see, I'm taking some red into this, which is okay with me. If it wasn't okay, you would definitely not want to do that. So it's lighter, and I'm just working my way, blending it from dark to light again as I go in. So it's changing the way it's going to look. And it's all going to be in the eyes of the beholder, you, how much you want to do this. I personally am liking it. So I'm just going to keep working it. And especially where the transition of the red goes out. That's what I'm working more for, besides smoothing this down. Because there are some spots but I'm going to go over the top with all of these with that white pen. But if I was doing it with white paint, I wouldn't just paint them. I would just kind of daub it on there. That's what I would do. I'm just going to put a little more of this. Just to let it move this around a little more. It doesn't have to be, this transition line doesn't have to be 100% gone. And you can still come back in here with your pencils and go over the top of it and work on it. There's little pieces of this paper comes off on the end here. And you can come down here, pick up some of this red, and just kind of bring it up too. But I don't want it all gone. I want it to kind of shine through. That still had some little pockets of white, so I'm just going to go over that again. That's better. I don't want it to stay that way. Okay. I think, what is this one? This is the red. I'm going to darken this a little bit more, but I wanted this raspberry too. I want to, whoops, sorry, I hit you and then I make you shake all over the place. I was trying to fill in this one spot, and it just wasn't. It didn't like me. It wasn't working. So I'm going to kind of bring this down a little bit more, but very lightly. I'm just going to work a little bit. I'm going to darken the side here a little bit. I think that's, I like that better. Now let's see if we can. You're really kind of coloring with the Gamsel. Yeah, I think I'm like, okay, I'm feeling better about it even. Blend this light part in. Yeah, I'm liking it. Okay. I think we're gonna let that dry. And then down here, let's do the same thing with this spot right here. Just lightly bring it up real lightly. Just enough to blend this harsh line. And that's what I'm trying to get rid of, is the harsh line. I think that's starting to fade in a little bit more. So let's just do a little bit more. And just lightly blend it. And look, that worked. I like the colors. And we get these white dots and the lines underneath them. It's going to be really pretty. All right, let's leave that for now. And let's do him in some oranges, just to bring more of the orange around. So I'm just going to fill him in. I could say I fill her in, but I think it's a him. And then we'll come back and give her some color. I don't know why this Did it on the other one too, and I thought that was kind of strange that it didn't have anything on that side. So I'm just going to give it some balance. Okay. Let's go around the edges, and we're going to use, let's see, did I tell you what color I used? The yellow orange. And now we're going to use the goldenrod. We're just going to go around the edges, and we're just going to blend this little guy together. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because I want to get this one finished. Now on the other two, I worked and worked and worked to get these colors to blend down. And I think we're going to use a little bit of the Viridian in him too. And maybe that's what we'll do. And give him a highlight kind of in the middle here. I think the allergies are starting to get in my voice. Either that or my voice is changing. Starting to sound raspy. My poor little sister. You get her on the phone, you can't tell if she's a man or a woman because of her voice. And she has a pleasant voice. It's just the difference in people's voices. I know it would be hard when I used to answer the phone. You had to remember, don't assume it's a man or a woman. Because voices can deceive you. I'm going to come back to the yellow orange and work my way around into this little orange spot. And then he'll have the little white spots too. And this one I'm going to give some little lines underneath. Switching back to the goldenrod. Just trying to blend this out a little bit. My little orange spot. Okay. All right, so let's see. Oh, I guess there were no lines. That's okay. All right, so let's go with the burnt umber, maybe. No, I think. Oh, here it is. We're going to go with the Viridian up under here. We're going to leave this bottom a little lighter and darken this up here. Okay, and then we'll come back to the burnt okra. And I'm just going to go right around the edge of my little mushroom. I'm going to make some little dark spots. Just kind of going up and down and moving down the line here. And right up underneath this. Just to give it some depth. And then, do I want to do this? How about my yellow? Let's go to my trusty yellow. And I know it'll blend and it'll leave this very bottom part light. It'll just kind of look like you're looking up underneath there, because it's got its little head tilted back. Now let's take a little bit of this burnt okra and just go and darken around this side of the edge. And do a little bit coming around. But we want to, it's kind of in a shadowy area, so we want to shadow it. Just a little bit. And then we can go underneath our little mushrooms and put, you have to kind of press down because we do have some, we have that done. We probably won't do the highlights on these in this video, but those are easy enough to do. Just the main thing is get these highlights just on the bottom part of all your mushrooms, okay, on all of them. So this one might be harder, but you might have to take a really dark pencil and do that. So I'm going to take the stem and this one is just done with black raspberry on the top and the stem, and then I used I put it away, just a light lavender for in here, and then the pasta pen, the little dots, I just dotted it. You're going to have to go over it a few times. I've gone over it twice already, and it's still leaving a little bit of purple, which I think I'm going to leave it like that now. I think it's fine. And I put little dots along the bottom just to change it a little bit. And get a drink before we start again. All right, so now we're going to work on this part here and then coming down. These can be just any colors you want. So where's my yellow? There it is. So I am going to do these two with my yellow real lightly, and then I'll come back in with yellow ochre and goldenrod, pumpkin orange. But I just want to make sure I have these highlights in these two, because I think this is the pretty part of this mushroom. Okay, so this is my sand. I call it yellow, but it's supposed to look like sand. And actually, if you look at it, it does kind of look like more like sand. So I'm just gonna start going around the edges. With the pumpkin. And around these little parts here. Then we'll come in and we'll deepen it at the very end with a little bit of maybe a brown ochre or something. But right now we're just kind of filling this in. And remember, if there's too much, put a piece of paper down over the top of these so you're not smearing your picture around, which is real easy to do. Okay. And we're just going to keep working it till you get it to where you like it. And that's basically what you do. Because remember, these little debits, we're pulling a little V. It doesn't have to be a perfect little V, but it just makes it look more indented, more 3D. See? And around the very top, we want it to be more colorful. So we will work all of this in. This video may be a little longer than normal because I want to get it finished. I will finish the dots and different little things. When you look away and look at it again, it's really pretty. And you want to make sure you leave some highlights. So just kind of, but your highlights, you don't always want them white. I don't. So you want to go over them with a lighter color, so they're not standing out so much. And let's see, where is that? What is this one? Light umber, maybe? I don't think this is it, but we'll try it. It'll work. So I'm just trying to get like in the very, very, very side of this thing so that it's just a little bit darker. I don't want to come all the way out. I just want to darken it up. Give it some good depth in there. Okay, I'm still looking for one other color and I'm not seeing it. It's got to be, I don't know if this is it or not. No, I'm looking for more of a I'll hang on to it. I think it's this one here, actually. It's just another goldenrod. So I kind of want to go over. Just a little more. Okay. We'll see how that works. I just wanted it a little more yellow. Maybe we'll pick up one of these. That's yellowed orange. All right, so now let's do this part. And we're going to do with the goldenrod. And we're going to go around the very edge, just kind of like what we did under here. And then we're going to come in and darken it again. But for right now, this is what I want done. Just a little bit, round these off in here, like that. Up on the corners, and across, and up on the corners. And just come, just this side, just this little bit side of this line. Because that kind of gives it more depth to it. Makes it start to round off. Okay. Now we're going to go back into our orange, yellow orange. And we just want to highlight this side. I mean, you could do this any way you want. It's just adding more color, adding more color. So now I've got the pumpkin orange. And I'm going to just kind of pull all this together with this. You see how I'm just kind of just going around little circles on the outer edge, because I want that color to deepen. But I want that highlight not to go away. And if you accidentally take it away, get your eraser out and erase it. And you know what? Because you've got color underneath it, it's not going to be like you just left a white spot. Sometimes it comes out better than if you tried real hard to just leave this spot. Then so I always try to make this line in here as dark as I can get it with whatever I'm using, and then it makes it look like it's really indented there. And you want to round these because this is rounded, so you want it to look like that. So I'm liking that, but I'm going to just barely cover up the really white part of it. I want the highlight to stay, but I don't want it to be bright white. Okay, I like that. I don't know if you do, but I do. All right, so now we're just going to do the stem. And we're just using this pumpkin orange. And we're going to come on with a nice, on either side, and then lighten it up in the middle. And across the top, we're going to do just like kind of like what we did here. We want and then we'll start blending. And this can be any of the colors that you want to use. I'm going to bring some up from the bottom because it's always darkest at the bottom. And now let's go back with our Viridian. We're going to go into the dark part and come out. Not all the way, because we're going to make that center lighter. But we're just going to keep working this. Until it kind of blends. And I'm going back and forth into this darker color and then pushing it out. So you're kind of in a way bringing some of that color with you if you press down and push out. And it kind of blends it. And same with this bottom. It's almost like you're trying to pull this up together. So that works nicely. And then we're going to come in with well, that's goldenrod too. I want to lighten it up. Oh, let's go to yellow. Bet you we wouldn't have guessed that. This just blends in so nicely and makes a nice highlight, I think. So we'll just kind of lightly go over the top of it, back and forth. And then we'll go over it again with the yellow, with the sand. And that makes a nice stem, and it kind of blends all the way up and down. But you can use a darker color down here. You can do just about whatever makes you happy. See, I think it turned out pretty. And this one, let's start out with the light umber. Very lightly because it's dark. And then let's pull it up on the side just like we did on that one. but we will lighten this up. Pull some up from the bottom because it's always darkest on the bottom. And now we can go back into, what is this one? This is bronze, actually. So I think that will go over the top of that nicely and down. Make it darker in that little spot. We're just going to go over the top of this darker color and bring it out. You can make them all the same color if you want. I just thought I'd change it up a little bit. And I think this is terracotta. So I'm going to go in lightly on the sides and just add a little bit of that color to kind of pull it down. Not a lot of it, just a little bit. Then we'll go to our mineral orange. Kind of blend that all together and come out a little bit. And I think before we get crazy, I am going to get my yellow highlight down the middle so I don't lose it. I don't want it to be bright though, so I want to go over it. Go along the edges as close as I can get without losing it. Now I'm pressing down more. You can always tell if you're pressing, you start getting crumbs. But I want this to blend together. And it's changing the color enough to where, to me, it looks like it's blending with the mushroom that's on top of it. And I'm keeping the same consistency of how much I'm putting down. Now some things you don't want to do this. You just want it to be a lighter touch and a lighter. It just works out differently. But this picture is bright, and you just want that color to pop off that page. And so you can pick that highlight back up real easy. Okay. And about this little guy, we'll do the pumpkin. That looks kind of weird. needs that line, I guess. I'll have to use a pencil, marker, micro pen, and fix it. And just either leave it alone or make the line. There's like a white spot right there. And a little bit. Uh-oh. Was I out of... I'm sorry. Just trying to blend those a little bit. Okay. Then all we have to do is put our little white dots on those. So I kind of wanted to show you what I did with the clouds, which was a little bit different. Let me get a... Is this one clean? No, cleaner. I used the blue around it to give it some depth. Then you can go into the cloud a little bit. Can you see that? And that, because I tried the grays like she did, I'm going to turn this upside down. And even everything, I've just never been real good at doing clouds. Sometimes they turn out and sometimes they don't. So just pick up some of this blue from up here and give them some. Isn't that cool? I thought it's the easiest way of giving them some depth. And because you look up there, they're not all white. There's lots of grays and blacks and different colors in them. So I just thought this worked out really well for me anyway. And some of you might work out better. This one doesn't have as much blue in it. But how's that? Look at that. Doesn't that give it some more depth than that? And then I want to show you, just in the green part, we're not going to do everything, but I'm going to use this green. What is it? Kelly green. So I just took and made little circles for the grass at the top, because I'm going to do the same thing I did up there. I'm going to come in and I'm going to stir this little grass up, and it's going to look more like it's moving. So let me do this. Oops. Guess I don't have to reach all the way across everything. But if I don't put this lid on, you know what will happen. So I'm just going to make little circles it'll kind of look more like grass. I think it just looks fluffy and pretty. Oh, was I out of? I was out of the thing, I think. There, my phone goes right over the top, so I can't see it. Okay, we'll do it again. Let me make sure. Kelly green, okay. So I just did little circles. And made sure I had plenty of pencil build up at the top. And this part I'm just filling in. Might as well do this little part too. Okay, so where is it? Here it is. And so I just did the little circles with this too, with a little bit of that. And I just pressing down. You have to be careful because you'll pull the purple in. And then just fill in all your little white lines. In this area, it's probably easier to use a smaller one, but it kind of looks see. I like that as the background. How she did it was really hard because she outlined each piece of grass and then colored around it. And I kind of got it, kind of, but it wasn't that easy. And then I came in and I filled it in, and she left hers kind of white, and so I wasn't, after all that work, it didn't look good. I wasn't happy with it. I'm just gonna try to keep this even across a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's grass. And then you'll come back in here and just fill in all your little greeneries, which I didn't put a lot in this picture. But I'll make them much darker than this green. But I think it'll be easier to blend this grass in before you go over those with a darker, because this is just almost a viridian green. That makes it really pop out. I see a little piece of blue. And I did finish up the other two pictures, so I can get these in the mail very soon to my daughter. I'm so excited for her to get them. And I'm really done painting mushrooms, coloring mushrooms. To me, this is still like painting. It's like you're painting a beautiful picture. Just keep on working. I think this one turned out just as cute as the two big ones. All right, so now let's get the smaller one and dunk it. Give it a good dunking. I'm just going to set it way over there out of my way. It just amazes me that this just soaks everything up and it doesn't drip or make a mess or not. I don't think it would be ideal for everything, but anything that you're having a hard time blending, that you're wanting really, and I do have, sometimes I just have such a hard time blending sometimes. And I know, like my little birds, if you watch the video, it was just very soft, very gentle, layer after layer after layer, and they just came out so soft and so pretty. And I didn't have 1 ounce of trouble with either one of those. But I don't really understand, sometimes why I do and sometimes I don't. But that's what we're learning. And I know there's some experts on here that probably could tell you exactly what I did wrong. But I'm learning. We're learning together, huh? So I just think everything we do, we're learning something new. It's just like starting this YouTube channel. Can't believe a month of mistakes and learning how to fix them and learning, I fixed them one time. Well, how did I do that last time? And I did get me a notebook out, one that I won't use for anything else. And as soon as you write it down, then you'll never forget it. You'll be able to do it every time. Anyway, I remember one place I had sticky notes everywhere. But that way I didn't have to think about it. I just knew where it was, and that was the answer. And yes, it was. It was the answer. There's the sticky note. And this one young girl came up to relieve me for lunch or something. And I came back and she took them all down and threw them in the trash. And I was like, you had no right. I wanted those up there. They helped me. You might have a young mind that you think very clearly and quickly. We're all different. We all have different ways of learning. I learn more visual. You show me. Let me see. Don't just talk to me, because sometimes it just goes right out of my head. So how's that? I like it. I know you like it too. I can hear you. Yay! You guys, I have read every single one of your notes that you have sent me, and you have encouraged me so much, and you've made my life so much nicer. Because when people are nice to you, the world is just too full of mean people. They're just opinionated and hateful and mean. I've heard different YouTubers talk about the trolls but I think every single one has been kind. They're just trying to be helpful if they, whatever they're saying. it may not be something I can do or can't do, or but I appreciate it. I appreciate all your memos, all your little things that you've said to me, and you're just so kind. Every single one of you are just so kind, and I thank you. It gives you a better look at the world, even though the world is going crazy. There's still kind people. And that's my heart, is just to be kind to people. One time I was at the grocery store, it's been maybe 6 months now, but after we started taking our masks off, of course not everybody has, but I was so happy to see people's faces. If I could get a look at their eyes, I give everybody a smile. I just can't help it. And this one man stopped me, and I didn't even realize I smiled at him, to be honest. And he told me, he said something about I was the only one who even had a smile on my face, let alone looked him in the face and smiled at him. And we just started talking. But it does make a difference. A smile can make a lot of difference to someone, that somebody actually looked at me and smiled. That the whole world isn't upset and angry and hurt and mad. And I think there's more nice people in the world than there are the crazy ones. And you got to admit, there's some crazy ones. Never in all my life. When I was a kid, nobody cared if we got on our bicycles and be home before dark, but nobody was freaking out because you weren't home, because nobody thought anything about you being unsafe. It just, where are you? And we play it outside forever. But now you're afraid to even let your child be loose in the store. I don't mean loose, but I don't know. It's just nice to be with all of you that are so nice. We'll be kind to each other. There's a few of you that I've noticed had your own YouTube, and I've tried to go check you out and see what you're doing. We're almost there. To decide what color to make those little flowers. Let's make them red. I guess that's kind of a red-orange. A lot of times I just go over them like this. Then I'll come back in with a darker color and shade them. Sometimes I do part of them and part of them. There's a few things I'll have to go back and work on, just blending a little bit more. Whoops. Let's get the bright yellow. but we're almost done. So I don't want it to be too long. What's another color? Here. Oops. I don't want to see. I want you to see it close to being done. What was that? A leaf? Must have been. You're saying, if you don't know, we don't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit that phone. I had a different one that was more sturdy, but I could hardly get my phone in and out of it. I was actually worried that I was going to break the case on it. It was so tight. Then I found this one, and it was nice because it was much easier. It's more like a big hair clip. So I can get it in and out. I could see more of my phone on the other one, but this one, that didn't turn out like what I thought it would. Maybe it's not a good green. Maybe just go over it with another color green. I don't know why I'm having trouble. Maybe that's... It just amazes me when you put another color underneath it, what color it changes it to. And I know you're supposed to, you do these little color swatch things where you put all the colors on one side and then you start going across with all the different colors, but I'm sitting on the very edge of my seat. It's like, I don't know how I got clear out here. I want to come back in with my pen and put those little lines back in. Oops. It's going to fade away into that color, and I don't want it to do that either. It seems like it's such a smaller picture, but it's not. It's the same size as the other ones. Maybe it's just because of what is or isn't in the picture. But I like it. I like it, you know, without all the little fairy houses and stuff too. Just as much as I do just adding a little bit of shading color. And then where is our, let me sit back on my chair. Holy moly. Alright, so we just went over the top of these. With this black raspberry, which I've used up in here and on a couple of the other pictures. And then we'll take our purple. Where'd our purple go? Wow, we're almost done. Well, I don't know where it went, so this is probably not the right color, but we're going to do it anyway. Oh, it looks like it's close enough. So I'm just going to go over the whole thing to burnish it and blend it together. I am pressing on it just to I want those little things to disappear, but I think I made them disappear. Maybe they'll pop back up. I can go over it with the dark one again. Because even though I went over it with the light one, I can still go back over it again and bring that color back out, but now it's blended together. I'll do the bottom first. And then, just like that. Go right back over the top of it and just deepen it again. Okay, and so I used, let me sharpen it. I used the black raspberry for the little stem. But I want to stay in the line on this little tiny. Okay, and then I just took my to do. That's too thin. I don't want to use that one. This one's probably too fat, but let's see if it'll work. That's what I have trouble with, is getting it to go over the wax. And I'll outline all of that in this one here too. I'm just going to show you how I did this little guy. I just did little dots together. See? And then they're going to absorb the purple. So then you'll have to come back and redo it. And then on the bottom, I just made like a little lacy cloth. Like that. And then you'll have to come in and do all these. Remember to go over the top of the black lines. The bottom ones you can leave because you're going to have a shadow down there. Go over it and then just dot it and fill it in. And I think we're done. So besides me coming in here and doing some lining, it's just going to take some time to do that, and this video has been kind of long. So thank you everybody for watching me through this whole thing. Do these, and if you don't mind subscribing, it will really help me. It just will tell you when I post another one. It'll pop up in your box on YouTube. And if you'll give me a thumbs up if you like it, and if you'd like to leave me a little memo or something to say something or ask something, do so. I do enjoy them. I don't get to them exactly the same day, but I can try to keep up with them, and if there's a question, I try to answer it. So if nobody's told you today that they love you and that you are worth and have value, I'm telling you, I love you. Until the next video, we're going to do something fun. Watch and see. Goodbye.